Good day, everyone. Welcome to Journey of the Anointed with Mr. Buzz. This is a time when there's going to be a lot of goodbyes. A lot of people are going to be separated. And this is going to include husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, parents and children. Doesn't matter what the relationship is. It's a good possibility it's going to end, and people are going to go their separate ways. Friends. You might have had a friend for the last 10, 15 years you hung out with all the time. Suddenly there's going to be an obvious rift between you. The relationship's just not going to work anymore. It's not going to be in the best interest of either person, especially one of you, to continue it. The separation of the wheat and the tares is what's happening. So some people are meant to walk with Jesus. I'm one of them. That's my destiny. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I've been doing. And some people are just not meant to walk with Jesus, and they won't listen to it. They don't even want to hear the name. As soon as they hear the name, they don't want to hear that. And those people who just absolutely refuse to acknowledge the Lord and Jesus, they're sealing their fate. They don't realize it, but they're sealing their fate. And what will be, will be. And those who do understand the truth and want to walk with Jesus and want to accept him into their lives as their Lord and Savior, well, they're just going to have to cut ties with those others. There's no choice. You don't have a say in the matter. That's what makes it easier when you look at it that way. You don't really have a say in the matter. It's going to happen whether you want it to or not. And you're going to feel bad. You know, I have a friend who's going through this right now with one of her friends. And this friend of hers is all into that woke stuff, and a Christian and a woke person. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. The very concept of woke is anti-Christian. They think, that's who you'll hear say, "Oh, you believe in that imaginary man in the sky, do you?" No, I believe in the Lord, the creator of all that is, not an imaginary man in the sky at all. I believe in the Lord, the one who made you, actually, the one you should be acknowledging so you don't end up going to hell. That's the one I believe in. Yep. And they'll scoff and they'll laugh at you, and I mean, literally, that's what you'll get from them. So, are we to put up with that and, just for the sake of the friendship, tolerate that stuff? No. Nope. That's not the answer. So, connections are going to be severed. Completely severed. I had a friend. It was quite scary for me, actually. He was like my best friend. I love him like a son, actually. He's so important to me, I can't even express it to you. And he was a Buddhist. Which I respected, You can be a Buddhist, you can be whatever you want in this world. You get free will. But then it got to this point where I knew that was going to be an issue, because Buddhist is anti-Christian as well. That's completely anti-Christian. They're up there in the Tibetan mountains guarding the entrance to Shambhala. That's not a good thing. The Dalai Lama in cahoots with Xi Jinping and making deals with him. That's not very Christian either. So I thought, this is going to go bad here, and I'm going to lose my relationship with him. Well, wouldn't you know it, it turns out that he's one of the anointed. After all of that, it turns out he's one of God's anointed, and came to this realization. Well, I completely helped him come to that realization, but he started believing in God a few months before I told him how to know he was one of the anointed, because it's obvious he is. We know that now. He started believing in God a few months before that, before I got to him. So, whew, saved. Got really lucky there, and I didn't lose him. He's one of us. Made my day. Oh, did that make my day? Did that ever make my day? But if it would have went the other way and he had to go, if we had to cut ties with him, or we had to cut ties with each other, then that's what would have happened. I would not have had a say in the matter. The Lord has the say. And he's separating the wheat and the tares. And we harvest the wheat. We don't harvest the tares. We throw the tares away, really. And of course, which ones are the tares? Well, the ones who don't even acknowledge they have a creator. If you were the creator of the universe, how would you feel about those who deny you completely? You gave them life. You put the breath of life into them, and then they say, you're an imaginary man in the sky, and make fun of you. You probably wouldn't take too kindly to it, and you probably wouldn't want your children who do acknowledge you interacting a whole lot with them. You'd probably separate them. I think that's exactly what you'd do if you were the creator. Not that, I can even fathom what that is like to be the creator. I certainly can't, but everything he does is perfect and logical and makes perfect sense once you really look at it. And that is what he's doing, and it does make perfect sense to me. It sure does. So no matter who you are, you're going to have to say goodbye to somebody. You may have to say goodbye to your spouse. It's quite possible. A lot of people thought, well, I'm a Christian, but I can marry an atheist. That's okay. It's not. It's not okay, and this is why it's not okay. This is the problem with it. If you're a Christian, you devoutly believe in Jesus, and you've married an atheist, your marriage is going to end. Mark my words, it's 100% for sure. That's what's going to happen. What else could happen? It's almost harvest time. Are you willing to give up your salvation to go and be with your atheist wife? Or are you willing to give up your salvation to go with your atheist husband? However way it is? I would think not. You're going to have to leave your atheist spouse and still go after your salvation. That's what you're going to have to do. So my marriage was ended that way. It ended for a lot of reasons, and a lot of them were my fault, and it was devastating, and it crushed my life. It crushed me. I missed her for years. I cried for years and years over that marriage. But she didn't believe in Jesus. She was pretty much an atheist, actually. And I don't know if she still is. That could have changed. But I doubt it, because the whole family is like that. They're all atheists. That's where they are. And I didn't fit into the family for that reason. I've never been an atheist. That's definitely not where I was. No. I knew God was real a very long time ago. I was 100% sure on that. But I married an atheist, and I didn't think that was a problem, and I don't know what was in my head when I did that. But almost a decade ago, God broke it apart anyway. It couldn't go anywhere because a believer and an atheist, nope, got to be separated. Got to be. And it's happening with friends. I had to cut a bunch of friends loose. You know, anybody who says, you know, you believe in that imaginary man in the sky, cut. That's it. Goodbye. Goodbye. You're not going to ridicule my faith. You're not going to ridicule the Lord. Not to me. Nope. Nope. And also, I know for certain that I am one of his anointed. If you're going to ridicule me for that, also, I'm not going to have that. Neither is the Lord. He knows who his children are, and we know who we are. And anyone who doesn't want to believe it, fine, but you're not going to ridicule us, that's for sure. We're not going to have it. So probably all of you are facing some real heartache. Some worse than others, because it's going to be your marriages and, you know, your relationships, your romantic relationships. Or your children. Your children are going to go one way and you're going to go the other. In some cases, the children will be the believers and the parents will be the one denying. They'll be the tares. However it is, separation is well underway. And nothing you can do about it. Hope that you're on the right side of it. You want to be wheat. You don't want to be the tares. You don't want to be the stuff being thrown away. If you're on that side, have another look. Have another look. Jesus is coming. When he shows up, what are you going to say then? Don't wait till he shows up to have a look at it. Have a look at it now before he gets here. And be prepared to drop to your knees when he gets here. And save yourself from eternal damnation, because there's nothing worse can happen to you than that. There's nothing worse can happen to you than that. I've worried about it all my life. I mean, it's such a serious thing. If that happens to you, it's just really bad. It's just really, really bad. Never-ending torment. You don't want that to happen. Open your hearts, open your minds. If you're on the side where you're going to be labeled tares and you're going to be thrown away, you still got a chance, but your time is running out. I'm telling you, your time is getting short. Don't wait another second. Do it now. Ask Jesus to come into your life. Put down your addictions. Stop your promiscuous sex, whatever you're doing, your drugs, booze. Put down your addictions. Drop to your knees and ask Jesus to come into your life. Do that today. You still have time. Can't promise tomorrow. I don't know how many tomorrows you got left. You might have a few left. I don't know. We're getting down. The signs and wonders that are described in the Bible are all around us. It's just about time, folks. Jesus is coming. And the separation of the wheat and the tares is well underway. So I hope everything works out good for you. I want it to work out good for everyone. I don't want to see anyone suffer eternal damnation. It's right there for you. You just gotta accept it and do it. That's it. Then maybe after you do it, you can save someone else. Stop them from ending up in eternal damnation. I've saved a few people from it. I've helped bring them into the light. It feels really good when you do. It feels great. Like there's no other way you can spend your time that's so worthwhile. It's the best thing there is. I didn't keep track of how many, but there's more than a handful. There's a few people who may not have found Christ if it wasn't for me coming upon them and steering them in that direction. So I'm hoping I just did it for someone else just now. And if I can help, get in touch. I'll be glad to help. Glad to help. Thanks for watching. Jesus Christ, the one you're seeking right now, Lord of Lords, King of Kings.